Thank you, Genesis Gold Group, for sponsoring this video. Once the economy is locked into an ideological prison and access to private trade can be denied by a handful of bureaucrats working with corporations, the establishment then has the means to dictate all of society. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably one of the most, if not most important videos that I've put out. So please share this. Please give it a like so that the YouTube algorithm will hopefully recommend it to others. I've been talking about ESG for a long time now, and they've changed the name of the game. For those of you that don't know what ESG is, it's Environmental Social Governance, which is a derivative of SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, and that comes from the UN. And ESG is kind of like a branch off of the Sustainable Development Goals that the UN has set forth for the world to achieve, ladies and gentlemen. Now first, if you're not familiar with this, you have to understand that the United Nations is not an elected governance body, meaning that it's not elected by anyone, not any country, not any citizen. So what business do they have, passing down this ideology that they want to implement upon us, the people? Well, they found a very easy and beneficial way for them to do this. They can pass down their ideology onto corporations that are on board with their ideology. And the way that corporations started implementing that SDG ideology is through ESG, Environmental, Social, and Governance. Now, this is a way that they can manipulate us, the public, without having to pass laws through our governing bodies, no matter what country you live in. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now since people are catching on to this ESG and SDG, and they're like, hey, this is no good, and we can't be doing this. Well, now they changed the name. Well, how do we know that if someone doesn't put that information out? I'm very grateful that this article was written. I'm not a financial advisor, but the folks at Genesis Gold Group specialize in helping those who want to diversify their excess wealth by converting their fiat currency retirement plans into a plan that is backed by real money. So if you're in a position where you are wondering what you can do in order to diversify or insulate your wealth against what I like to call the inferno of inflation, give Genesis Gold Group a call, and they can provide you with the information that you need in order to make an educated decision. Once again, thank you very much, Genesis Gold Group, for sponsoring this video. The new authoritarian agenda revealed. All right, the globalism of SDG and ESG has been rebranded, and it's something that we have to talk about. In July of last year, as the hype surrounding the health crisis was finally dying out, I came across a video, says the author, promoting a barely publicized project called Council for Inclusive Capitalism. Now, doesn't that sound great, ladies and gentlemen? The Council for Inclusive Capitalism. Please understand that capitalism is good and crony capitalism is bad. But inclusive capitalism is even worse, ladies and gentlemen. It is the same trick that they've used so many times, and unfortunately it's worked so many times. You know, when the government passes a law and they name it, let's pick one for example, well, the Patriot Act. Today's a good day to talk about how the government used something that happened in the history of the United States that was a terrible thing to then go forward and pass a law with a great name like the Patriot Act, which in fact turned out to be probably one of the worst laws ever passed, and one of the laws that restricted us from our liberties the most than any other laws before it. But I digress. There is a short video here that I would like to go over with you all, maybe about halfway through or so, and then of course you can use the link to this article to watch the whole video yourself. The entire thing is only about 6 minutes, but we'll just get through about half of it or so because it's very telling as to what it is that they're trying to do, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and play it.
Any necessario e urgente un sistema economico giusto, affidabile e in grado di rispondere alle sfide più radicali che l'umanità e il pianeta si trovano ad affrontare.
We are answering Pope Francis's challenge to create more inclusive economies that spread the benefit of capitalism more equitably and allow individuals to realize their full potential.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have to listen to the words. You have to read or listen in between the lines. What she's talking about right there is making first world countries like the US, like the Western nations, poorer so that third world countries can become richer. In other words, what she's talking about is lowering the standard of living of the first world nations at the same time that they're raising the standard of living of third world countries, making the world more equitable. See? Equality. That's what she's talking about. But how do they go about achieving that? Well, it's called a transfer of wealth. This health crisis that we just went through the last couple of years, I guess you can say, or 3 years, that's exactly what that was. That was probably, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think that I am, the greatest transfer of wealth that has occurred in our history, in the history of this nation. And the greatest transfer of wealth that will occur hasn't even happened yet, but it's coming, and it's coming in short order. So another thing that I wanted to cover just in the first 41 seconds, another thing I wanted to talk about is I thought that the Pope was in the business of religion. Shouldn't he be doing stuff about religion? I don't know exactly what it is that the Pope does, but he should be doing stuff about religion, right? Not worrying about the economy. That's why we have PhDs and economists and things like that. But anyways, I digress.
A majority of people around the world say that they think their families will be worse off in 5 years. That's a scenario that we simply can't accept.
Too much wealth has accreted to too few people.
If you make money, what's the point if you're not prepared to share it? If the people who help make that wealth for you can't live with dignity?
It's inclusive capitalism, though, and we have to recognize that starting from where we are to where we need to get to, we need to bring everyone along, and there will be adjustments that come with that.
We do need the private sector's ingenuity, capital, technology, people, everything, their passion to come to the party.
We want to operate in a sustainable way, where incentives are aligned across generations, not just across quarters, and the main actors take a long-term perspective.
Aligning our innovation with the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the priority.
Did you hear that? The UN's Sustainable Development Goals. Pretty much aligning their priorities with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. What I just talked about in the opening of this video. They've created a huge problem in the world of inequity. All right? They've created a huge problem where there is such a big divergence between those that have a lot and those that have almost nothing, that now they're trying to fix that problem by stealing from we, the people that are still in the middle class, just struggling, so that we can become just as poor as the poorest that there are. That's how they're trying to fix the problem, instead of trying to fix the problem through keeping the government from being able to take money from these corporations that want to rule the world.
Of inclusive capitalism is both a business and sustainability imperative.
In other words, it's ESG. Same thing.
Two reasons, I think, why I'd say concrete commitments to inclusive capitalism matter. I mean, the first, and not to be underestimated, really important, is they can inspire other people. And the second thing that I would say around concrete public commitments is they can help build trust.
Leaders in the business community can be a unifying force. They can be a source of opportunity. They can be a source of understanding. So we as business leaders can step up and solve many of these economic problems?
I think business plays a very important role in resolving these challenges. I think businesses have to become, part of the solution through leadership by example and through leadership by incentives.
Do you want the CEO of Coca-Cola to tell you how you have to live your life? Do you want the CEO of Merck, like that gentleman there, to tell you how you have to live your life? What business do businesses have in trying to engineer society? This is exactly what they're trying to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I challenge you to please come back and read this entire article yourself. Look through the entire video yourself. We got through about a little less than half of the video, but I'm going to let you come back because that 6-minute video, there's so much that we can talk about. This video would be way too long. But remember the name, Council for Inclusive Capitalism. I'm going to have to say it 100 times so I can remember it just as easily as I remember ESG, because I've been talking about ESG for so long. But that is what this is. This is just a rebranded name for the exact same thing. And a bunch of people who know that they will benefit from being able to have control over those same societies that they now service with whatever it is that they are providing via their corporations. Here it says that the Council for Inclusive Capitalism, doesn't that sound nice? The CIC is intimately tied to institutions like the WEF. Wow, look surprised, ladies and gentlemen. The United Nations and the International Monetary Fund. I would say too that the Bank for International Settlements is probably tied to it as well. But it is primarily an attempt to link all of these organizations more closely to the corporate world in open display of cooperation. The group pushes the spread of what they call stakeholder capitalism. This is the notion that international corporations are obligated to engage in social engineering. That's another way of saying that corporations are required to manipulate citizens and governments with the economic punishments or rewards. But you just wait. Eventually, that social credit score will be coming for you, ladies and gentlemen. We have also seen stakeholder capitalism on display in the push for the ESG guidelines among major companies. Most readers are probably familiar with ESG by now. But keep in mind that the public was oblivious to the terminology until the past couple of years. And that's about how long I've been reporting on it. All right. But globalists have been developing ESG rules since 2005, as Klaus Schwab of the WEF notes in his book Stakeholder Capitalism. Give me a second. I have to look something up. There's something else that I think started around 2005, but I have to verify. Remember the video that I did on C40 Cities, ladies and gentlemen? We'll take a look at this. 2005 to 2010, they're going through a timeline of their history, of the C40 Cities history, right? 2005, C40 is founded. Isn't that something? C40 is a playbook directly out of the UN's SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. ESG was intended to be the tool that globalists and governments would use to force companies into the stakeholder capitalist model. It is a kind of social credit system, but for companies, not for individuals. Eventually, it will come down to us once we get a little thing called a CBDC. The higher a company's ESG score, the more access to capital and lending they would have. Easy money. So this is why ESG started predominantly with the big banks. The big banks started with ESG, and now it's dwindling down to the companies, because companies, remember, we work in a debt-based economy. Companies need to borrow to make payroll. They need to borrow money all the time. When a dealership goes out there and gets a few truckloads worth of cars, they didn't pay for it out of pocket. They borrowed that money. All right, they finance those cars. Every car that you see in a dealership's lot is financed. So if they're not playing ball, guess what? They're not going to get funding. They're going to go out of business. Modern ESG started in 2005, initially focused on climate controls. Whatchamacallit? Some people say, oh my goodness, your conspiracy theories. How can you say that this was planned? Ladies and gentlemen, this was all planned. Can you not see this with your eyes? This was all planned. That's why we need to be awake. That's why we need to be prepared. That's why we need to be able to resist. And the only way that you can resist is to prepare yourself. By 2016, it became something else. ESG widely adopted woke politics, including critical race theory, feminism, trans ideology, various elements of Marxism, etc. So they went away from the environment, right? So they started the environment. They took so many years to just concentrate on the environment. Get that E embedded into people's minds. Get that E, to be part of people's ideology. Oh, wait a minute, I can't drive an SUV because that's going to destroy the ozone. We've got too much CO2 in the ozone, even though CO2 only makes up 0.04% of all of the gases in the atmosphere, right? Now, in the last couple of years, as you've noticed, they've started working with the S, with the social, right? Budweiser, anyone? The CIC wants to dictate global mandates that force companies to adopt ESG-like policies, using trillions of dollars in climate funds, using your money, ladies and gentlemen. You know those carbon credits that's going around, not in the U.S. yet, but in other countries? And I would say that in the U.S. there are carbon credits happening because we are paying taxes for climate change in one way or another, be it through inflation or be it through policy, right? But that's your money that they're using. $7 trillion per year, to be exact. $7 trillion, how much labor is that? And that's what they're taking from you in order to be able to enslave you in a better way. But don't worry, it's inclusive. And this is the last part. A central bank digital currency is a crucial milestone in their progress toward this goal. Just imagine how much easier this will be when the 100 or so largest, most influential corporations in the world are on board and enthusiastic about such a development. All privacy and trade will be gone. We've talked about this before. Implementation of CBDCs would also mean that ownership of money and the ability to transact, to participate in the economy, will become privileges and not rights. That is what they mean, that you will own nothing. Because once we have a CBDC and they can program the credits in your digital wallet, those credits that you earned with your labor are no longer yours, because they can make them whatever they want. They can make them disappear when they want. They can devalue them if they want. They can give the people that tell on their neighbors more. They will be in 100% control. By that time, it won't even be about privacy anymore. It'll just be about you being able to have a good enough credit score or social credit score to be able to buy that next loaf of bread for your family. Once the economy is locked into an ideological prison and access to private trade can be denied by a handful of bureaucrats working with corporations, the establishment then has the means to dictate all of society. Our behaviors, our beliefs, our principle, and our morals. That's what we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, and that is why you have to stay informed. That is why you have to understand that these people, all right, that run these big corporations that are on the side of ESG, they are not our friends. And I understand that we don't have a choice. We have to be able to get those things that we consume from where we can get them. Some people are restricted because of how much money they have, and they have to go, let's say, to Walmart, even though Walmart is expensive as heck nowadays. Let's say to Walmart or a dollar store to get something, and they can't just be bothered with where those things come from. I understand that, ladies and gentlemen, but you have to stay awake and be as prepared as possible. If you still have to go to Walmart to get your food, if you still have to go to the dollar store, if you still have to go to some corporation where you know are towing the line for ESG and now this new CIC things, that's okay as long as you're preparing, because there will come a day where you will have to resist. There will come a day where you will have to resist. And the best way to resist, in my opinion, is to be as best prepared as you possibly can, because then you can use your most important muscle, which is your no muscle. You can say, no thanks, I don't need that. Oh, I can't come to work, I'm fired now. No problem. I got a couple of years worth of preps. I got food for the next year and a half or two. I got a 6-month emergency fund. Oh, AP, it's so easy for you to say. How can I get a 6-month emergency fund? How important is it to you to be able to maintain your freedom? Is it important enough to go and do DoorDash or to do Uber and to work every weekend for the next 6 months to a year if that's what it takes? If it's that important to you to be free and for your children to be free, then you will do it. And if it's not, then I guess you won't, ladies and gentlemen. It is a choice that every individual has to make by themselves. I've made this video extremely long, and I appreciate every single one of you that is still here. I've got like another 10 or 15 news items to talk about that are worthy talking about, but I thought I'd make this subject matter its own video because I think it's so important. So again, please share this. Please give it a like, ladies and gentlemen, so that hopefully the YouTube algorithm will pick it up. Have a great day. God bless every one of you. Thank you very much for everyone that joined in on yesterday's live stream. It was awesome. Had a great time. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.